Right now, as you hear these words, you are standing at the doorway between the self you have been and the self you are becoming. There is a quiet electricity in the air, like reality itself is holding its breath, watching to see what you will choose. If this message has reached you, it is not an accident. Something in you has been calling it in for a long time. Before we go any deeper, take a breath and claim this moment as a turning point in your timeline. And if you feel that this kind of guidance speaks directly to your soul, remember to stay close, to follow, to subscribe, because your future self will keep sending you messages like this. You are not just listening to another video. You are listening to a version of you who already walked this path and is now whispering back through time. Let that sink in for a moment as you feel the space around you become charged with possibility. This is what happens to reality when you finally dare to act like your future self. At first, the shift is subtle, almost fragile, like a new frequency trying to tune into your body. You notice yourself standing a little taller, breathing a little deeper, moving a little slower, as if you suddenly remembered that you are allowed to take up space. Your mind still tries to run its old scripts, but there is a new observer inside you now, calm and watchful. You begin to pause before reacting, asking not what would the old me do, but what would the me who already made it do? This question starts to echo under your every decision, soft but persistent, recalibrating your choices one gesture at a time. Even your inner voice begins to change tone, from critical and impatient to strangely patient, assured, almost parental. You feel an unfamiliar mixture of discomfort and excitement, as if you are wearing new clothes that do not yet feel like yours but obviously fit. This is the first sign that the timeline has started to bend. Soon, your outer world starts to respond to this inner rerouting, even if nothing looks dramatic on the surface yet. People who once drained your energy suddenly feel heavier, and you find yourself needing more distance without fully knowing why. Conversations that used to entertain you now feel shallow, and silence becomes strangely nourishing. Little synchronicities begin to cluster around you, like repeating numbers, chance encounters, and perfectly timed messages. The right opportunities do not explode into your life all at once, but they knock softly at first, testing if you are really serious about this new identity. You notice delays and detours that frustrate the old you, but the future you feels the hidden alignment beneath them. Reality feels like it is rearranging furniture behind the scenes, dragging out what no longer matches the room you are building. You are not imagining it. This is reality quietly updating its code to reflect the version of you that is logging in. Time itself starts to feel different when you act like your future self. The days that were once blurred into a single gray loop now carry a strange sense of depth and texture. Moments of alignment seem to stretch, as if life is slowing down to let you fully taste them. Moments of misalignment become louder, shorter, and harder to tolerate, pushing you back onto your chosen track. You begin to sense that your future is not a distant destination but a field that is already here, pulling you forward. Some memories from your past even start to feel less solid, less definitive, almost like old dreams you no longer fully believe in. The story you used to tell about who you are and what is possible for you starts to crack in the light of who you are becoming. In those cracks, timelines are rewriting themselves. Of course, the old reality does not disappear without a fight. Your mind retrieves every fear it ever stored, every failure it ever witnessed, and lays them out like evidence against your evolution. You hear thoughts like, "Who do you think you are? You are pretending. This is not really you. This is just a phase." The people closest to you may sense the shift and unconsciously try to pull you back into the version of you that feels safe and familiar to them. You may notice sudden doubts, unexplained fatigue, or even situations that seem to test your boundaries all at once. This is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that the old timeline is attempting one last negotiation. Every time you choose the response of your future self instead of the reaction of your past self, that old contract dissolves a little more. Reality is watching, recording these new choices as the data that will build your next life. Slowly, something radical begins to dawn on you. You realize that acting like your future self is not about faking anything. It is about remembering what was always latent inside you. You see that the confidence you are stepping into was never arrogance. It was self-respect delayed by years of fear and conditioning. You feel that the peace you are choosing is not escapism. It is energetic conservation, a refusal to waste your frequency on battles already lost in higher dimensions. You understand that discipline is not punishment. It is devotion to the reality you say you want. The gap between who you were and who you are becoming does not feel like a cliff anymore. It feels like a bridge you are already halfway across. You start to glimpse that this bridge was built not by your effort alone, but by the version of you that already stands on the other side, holding the blueprint. In that realization, the air around you thickens with a sense of unseen companionship. What you are feeling is not just psychology, and it is not just motivation, it is physics of the soul. Every time you act like your future self, you emit a different signal into the field around you. That signal speaks a language that reality understands better than your words, your affirmations, or your plans. It tells life, this is who I am now, this is the level I occupy, this is the timeline I choose. In response, reality begins to reorganize the probabilities, people, and paths available to you. You feel this as strange coincidences, sudden clarity, and doors that were once locked starting to budge open. To your logical mind, it may still feel mysterious, but at the level of energy, it is precise and exact. In the next moments, you will understand why this happens and how to consciously work with it. Imagine for a moment that reality is not solid, but a living field of information responding to your dominant state. Every belief you carry, every emotion you repeat, every choice you normalize, sends out a specific pattern into that field. Your future self is not just a fantasy version of you. It is a real frequency already existing in that field, vibrating at a different level of certainty and coherence. When you act like your old self, you sync with the old pattern and reality mirrors that back to you faithfully. When you act like your future self, even before you see proof, you begin to sync with the pattern of that already existing version. You are not forcing the universe to give you something. You are tuning yourself to what is already true in another layer of you. The more consistently you hold that tune in your actions, the less room there is for the old static to dominate your experience. This is why repetition of identity-aligned behavior is more powerful than occasional bursts of motivation. Your emotions in this process are not enemies. They are instruments, telling you which station you are tuned to. When you act like your future self and feel expanded, grounded, and quietly powerful, you are touching the right station. When you act like your future self and feel terrified, exposed, or like an imposter, you are brushing against the edges of old programming being cleared. Both sensations are part of the same energetic recalibration, and both are valid signals, not reasons to abandon the path. Your future self does not live without fear. Your future self lives with a different relationship to fear. Instead of taking fear as truth, that self takes fear as data, as a sign that you are approaching a doorway your nervous system was never trained to walk through. When you meet that fear and act from your chosen identity anyway, you send a massive surge of new information into the field. Reality marks that moment as a pivot point and begins to realign your path around it. Beneath your conscious mind, your subconscious has been storing every pattern you repeated enough times to feel safe. It does not care if those patterns kept you small or made you suffer. It only cares that they were familiar and predictable. The moment you act like your future self, you are introducing instability into that system of familiarity. Quantum physics teaches that unstable systems naturally seek a new state of coherence, and your life is no different. You begin to collapse different possibilities, not by thinking about them once, but by embodying them repeatedly. The subconscious protests because it reads this as a threat, but the deeper truth is that you are upgrading your baseline. As your nervous system learns that this new identity is survivable, it stops sabotaging and starts assisting. At that point, what once felt like forcing begins to feel like flowing. Your environment, both physical and social, is one of the clearest mirrors of the identity you are broadcasting. When you act like your future self, Some parts of your environment will resonate instantly, while others will begin to fall away. Objects you once clung to suddenly feel heavy, and you feel a strong urge to declutter, to clear, to simplify. Relationships that were built on your woundedness or your limitations may start to feel misaligned, even if nothing dramatic happens on the outside. New people, ideas, and invitations start to appear that match your upgraded self-concept. This is not random luck. It is resonance, the field bringing you into contact with what fits your new signal. You begin to realize that every yes and every no you offer is not just about politeness or preference. It is about protecting or polluting your frequency. The more you choose environments that affirm your future self, the more natural that version becomes. One of the deepest energetic truths in this journey is that identity matters more than outcome. Your old self chased results, external proof, and visible milestones to feel worthy or safe. Your future self moves from a different center, acting in alignment because that is simply who they are now, regardless of instant validation. When you begin to prioritize who you are being over what you are getting, the field stops reading you as desperate or fragmented. It reads you as coherent, congruent, and ready to hold what you are asking for. The irony is that when you stop chasing outcomes and start embodying identity, outcomes accelerate. Reality trusts you with more when you are no longer negotiating your worth with it. This is why acting like your future self is not performance. It is alignment. On a higher level, every choice you make is like a small vote for a specific timeline. There are versions of you who stayed small, versions who partially stepped forward, and versions who fully embodied the future you feel calling you. These are not abstract ideas. They are real energetic pathways branching out from your current moment. When you act like your future self, you are stepping into the pathway where that version already exists and has already integrated the lessons you are learning now. You feel this as déjà vu, as an inner knowing that somehow you have been here before and know what to do even when it feels new. Your dreams may start to shift, showing you symbols of crossing bridges, changing rooms, or leaving old houses. You might wake with the sense that something in the invisible has already happened, and now your body is just catching up. That feeling is your future self anchoring more firmly into your present timeline. Understanding these energetic mechanics is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to empower you. You are not at the mercy of random external events. You are participating in a precise dance between your inner state and the field around you. The challenges you face when you start acting like your future self are not punishments. They are calibrations. Every trigger, delay, or unexpected turn is an invitation to respond from your chosen identity instead of your conditioned reflex. When you see it this way, you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "Who am I being in this moment?" That single reframing changes how reality lands in your nervous system. It turns obstacles into training, pain into purification, and uncertainty into initiation. From here, your entire life begins to look different, even before anything visibly changes. As you keep acting like your future self, you start to reinterpret everything that once felt like proof of your limitations. Rejection begins to look less like evidence that you are not enough, and more like protection from what cannot hold your new frequency. Failure stops being a verdict and becomes feedback, a detailed report on what your next aligned tweak needs to be. Silence from people or opportunities that you once chased now feels spacious instead of humiliating. You realize that not hearing back is sometimes the field saying that path was not truly worthy of your new identity. You feel less pulled to prove yourself and more drawn to preserve your clarity. Little by little, your nervous system learns that the absence of old validation does not mean you are unsafe. It simply means you are in the hallway between old doors and new ones. Your perception of reality starts to expand beyond the small window of the five senses. You notice that your intuition is getting louder, giving you nudges, visuals, and sensations that feel like subtle guidance. You start to sense when a room is right for you or wrong for you before anything is said. You feel a magnetic pull towards certain ideas, places, or people, and a draining heaviness around others. Instead of overriding these signals, your future self honors them as real data. You stop asking your old fears for permission and start consulting your inner resonance instead. This moves you from living reactively to living responsively. In that shift, reality begins to feel less like chaos and more like choreography. One of the most surprising expansions in this process is how you begin to treat yourself. The harsh inner critic that once narrated your every move starts to lose its authority. You catch yourself offering grace to your own mistakes in a way that feels almost unfamiliar. You see that your past self was doing the best it knew with the level of consciousness it had. Instead of resenting that version of you, you begin to feel tenderness toward them. You recognize that without their survival strategies and attempts, you would not be standing here refining your identity now. This softening is not weakness. It is emotional maturity, the kind your future self has been holding for you all along. In that compassion, shame loosens its grip, and more life force becomes available to you. As your consciousness expands, the source of your authority subtly shifts. You stop outsourcing your sense of value to other people's reactions, timelines, and opinions. You no longer need everyone to understand your choices in order to trust them. Your future self would never hand their steering wheel to someone else. And now, neither do you. You still listen, you still learn, but you filter everything through your own deep inner knowing. This inner authority does not roar. It speaks in calm, steady, unshakable statements. You notice that when you honor it, synchronicities increase, and when you betray it, friction multiplies. Reality teaches you, again and again, that your alignment is the safest place you can live. Another layer of reinterpretation appears in how you relate to abundance and enoughness. Your old self saw abundance as something you chase, compete for, or beg from life. Your future self knows abundance as a state you tune into by becoming a match for what you desire. You begin to notice small proofs of support everywhere, like unexpected help, timely opportunities, or inner resources you forgot you had. Instead of focusing only on what is missing, you train your awareness to rest on what is present and expanding. Gratitude stops being a forced practice and becomes a natural side effect of seeing reality from a higher floor. From there, you make decisions less from scarcity panic and more from grounded sufficiency. That frequency quietly rewrites what reality is allowed to deliver to you. You also begin to question the labels you once wore like permanent name tags. I am shy, I am broken, I am unlucky, I am too much, I am not enough, start to sound less like truths and more like outdated scripts. You see how many of those scripts were inherited from family, culture, or past experiences that did not know your full power. Your future self is not limited by those labels, and so you start gently setting them down. You experiment with new statements like I am learning to trust myself, I am becoming more visible, I am creating a new story. These declarations feel wobbly at first, but each aligned action stabilizes them. Over time, the old labels feel inaccurate, even awkward to repeat. Your identity shifts from something given to something chosen. With every reinterpretation, you are not just thinking differently. You are inhabiting a new level of consciousness. Your relationship with time, self, others, and life itself is being rewired to match the vantage point of your future self. This is why, even on difficult days, something in you knows you can never fully go back. The old reality might still call your name, but it no longer fits your bones the way it used to. You have tasted a more expanded way of being, and your soul refuses to shrink again. From this place, you are ready to move beyond glimpses of your future self into deeper integration with them. You are ready to realize that this future version is not separate, distant, or superior to you. They are simply you remembered. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine stepping into a space outside of time. In front of you stands the version of you who already lives the reality you desire so deeply. Notice how they carry themselves, how they breathe, how their eyes hold both softness and certainty. Feel the energy that radiates from them, not loud and performative, but steady and grounded like a deep-rooted tree. This is your future self, not a fantasy character, but a real extension of your consciousness. They have walked through the doubts and decisions you are facing now and remember exactly how it felt. They are not judging you for where you are. They are deeply proud of you for even reaching this moment of connection. Let yourself feel their presence as if it is right here in the room with you. Between you and this future self, there is an emotional bridge made of choices. Every time you choose your old coping mechanisms, you take a step away from this bridge. Every time you respond from your future self's wisdom, even in small ways, you take a step across it. Your future self is not asking for perfection. They are asking for willingness. They know that the most powerful shifts happen in ordinary moments, like how you talk to yourself when no one is listening. They know that every time you regulate your emotions instead of spiraling, you are strengthening your side of the bridge. They feel every one of those choices as a wave of energy moving backward through time toward them. In return, they send you courage, comfort, and subtle instructions through intuition and inner knowing. Integration with your future self becomes practical when you start asking them specific questions. In the middle of a difficult day, you pause and ask, how would my future self handle this conversation? When you face a financial decision, you ask, what would the version of me who is already stable and abundant choose here? When you feel triggered, you ask, how does my healed self soothe and protect me right now? You might not always hear clear words, but you will feel a subtle pull toward a calmer, more empowered option. That pull is guidance, and the more you follow it, the louder and clearer it becomes. You begin to have moments where you surprise yourself with your own grounded response. That is your future self, slowly becoming your current self. This merging is not just mental or emotional. It is physical. Your body has been wired for years to expect the past, and now it is learning to host a new identity. You may feel sensations of expansion in your chest, warmth in your hands, or a tingling up your spine when you act in alignment. You might also feel waves of fatigue as your nervous system releases old survival patterns that are no longer needed. Your future self takes care of their body in ways that honor its role as the vessel of your purpose. As you integrate, you naturally feel drawn to rest more intentionally, move more consciously, and nourish yourself with more respect. None of this is about rigid control. It is about embodying the level of self-regard your future self lives in every day. Your posture, your breath, and even the way you walk begin to carry the memory of that version. Deeper integration with your future self also opens a wider doorway to your higher self. You start to sense that your future self and your higher self are working together, coordinating your evolution from different vantage points. Your higher self holds the timeless overview of your soul's journey, while your future self holds the specific blueprint for this chapter. Through meditation, stillness, or intentional moments of silence, you can tune into this higher guidance more clearly. You may receive intuitive flashes, symbolic images, or sudden clarity about what no longer belongs in your life. You begin to trust that when something leaves, it is because your higher intelligence and your future self agreed it was complete. You also trust that when something arrives, even if it stretches you, it carries the codes for your next expansion. This trust is the spiritual backbone of your new reality. The more you practice this connection, the less separate you feel from your future self. The idea of them being ahead of you in time starts to fade, and you feel them more as a dimension within you. You realize that, right now, you can access their confidence, their wisdom, and their calm, because those qualities are already inside you in seed form. Acting like your future self stops feeling like pretending and starts feeling like permission. Permission to be the person you always sensed you were meant to be, without waiting for more proof. From this place, old patterns of self-betrayal become harder to tolerate. You no longer feel comfortable abandoning yourself just to keep others comfortable. You choose alignment over approval, and in doing so, you step fully into the timeline you once only glimpsed. At this stage, integration is no longer just an inner experience. It is preparing to echo loudly in your outer reality. You have changed your state, your story, your identity, and your relationship with your own future. The field has been listening, adjusting, and rearranging behind the scenes. Soon, the physical world will begin to reveal what you have been aligning with in the invisible. It may not look exactly how your mind imagined, but it will carry the essence of what your future self has always held for you. You are not just waiting for that to happen. You are actively making room for it with every aligned choice. From here, your actions, habits, and daily rhythms become the building blocks of your manifested reality. This is where life starts to look undeniably different. At first, the external changes may still seem subtle, but they carry a different weight. You begin to receive messages, invitations, or ideas that would never have found the old version of you. People you once admired from a distance now speak to you as a peer, not as someone beneath them. Opportunities arise that require the exact combination of skills, wounds, and wisdom you have been cultivating. You notice that when you show up as your future self, doors open more easily, conversations flow more naturally, and solutions appear more quickly. Even when things fall through, they reveal themselves swiftly as misaligned, instead of dragging out for months or years. Reality starts to feel less like a maze and more like a guided path. You sense that something has undeniably shifted, even if you cannot fully explain it to others. Your relationships are one of the clearest arenas where this new reality becomes visible. Some connections deepen beautifully because they can meet the new version of you with love and curiosity. Other connections naturally loosen, not through drama, but through lack of resonance. You may find that you attract people who mirror your future self's traits, like emotional maturity, integrity, and vision. Conversations with them leave you feeling expanded rather than depleted. You are less willing to stay in spaces where you must shrink, perform, or abandon your truth just to belong. Instead, you begin to build communities and connections that celebrate your becoming. In this new reality, relationships become co-creative fields, not cages. Your work, whether it is a career, a project, or a calling, also begins to reflect your inner shift. Tasks that once drained you become easier to delegate, restructure, or release entirely. You find yourself drawn toward work that feels more aligned with your values and your deeper sense of purpose. Your future self does not hustle from panic. They create from alignment, and you start to do the same. You may experience seasons of unknown, where old roles fall away before the new ones fully solidify. Instead of interpreting this as failure, you read it as sacred reorganization. In that space, creative ideas that match your future self's reality have room to land. You realize that your work is not just about survival anymore. It is a channel for your soul to express itself. Money and stability often shift in unexpected ways when you act like your future self. You may initially face tests that ask, will you still honor your new identity even when the numbers do not yet reflect it? Your future self would not constantly underprice, overgive, or apologize for their needs, and slowly, neither do you. You become more intentional with how you earn, spend, and save, guided less by fear and more by clarity. As you embody respect for your own energy, life mirrors that respect in the form of more aligned income and opportunities. You start to feel safer inside yourself, regardless of temporary fluctuations in your external situation. From that inner safety, you make wiser, less reactive financial decisions. Over time, your outer stability rises to meet the solidity you have built within. Even as reality upgrades, life does not stop being life. Challenges, losses, and unexpected events still occur, but you meet them from a different altitude. Your future self is not untouched by chaos. They are anchored within it. You find yourself breathing through situations that would have once shattered you. You respond more thoughtfully, set boundaries more clearly, and recover more quickly after emotional storms. You stop using setbacks as reasons to abandon your path and start using them as training to deepen your embodiment. In this way, even difficulty becomes raw material for your expansion. Reality learns that you are no longer easily knocked out of your alignment. As more evidence of your new reality appears, it can be tempting to get lost in the results. Your future self, however, walks with a quiet humility. They know that every manifestation is a collaboration between your will, your higher self, and the field around you. Instead of inflating your ego, each success deepens your gratitude and responsibility. You see your life as a testimony of what becomes possible when someone chooses alignment over fear. This awareness keeps you soft, open, and teachable, even as you grow in power. You continue to refine, listen, and adjust, knowing that there is always a higher timeline available. Your reality becomes a living prayer instead of a performance. By now, you can feel that acting like your future self has altered the trajectory of your entire life. You are no longer moving blindly through repeated patterns. You are consciously co-creating your reality. The distance between who you are and who you dreamed of becoming has shortened, sometimes in ways that still surprise you. You have proof, both subtle and obvious, that reality responds to the identity you choose to live from. From here, the question is no longer, will this work for me, but will I keep choosing it? Your future self is closer than ever, woven into your daily choices, words, and thoughts. All that remains is to anchor this way of being as your new normal. That is the invitation of this final part of your journey. Take a moment to realize how much power you hold in every ordinary day. At any second, you can choose to think, speak, and act from your past self or from your future self. You may not control every event that happens to you, but you absolutely influence the way reality organizes around your response. When you choose the response of your future self, you vote again for that higher timeline. When you forget and fall back into old patterns, you are not disqualified. You are simply offered another chance to choose. This path is not about being perfect. It is about being persistent. Your future self has never expected flawlessness from you. They have only ever asked you to keep coming back to who you really are. To live as the future you now, build simple, sacred practices into your days. Begin your mornings by asking, what does my future self need from me today? Visualize their posture, their energy, their choices, and let that vision color the way you move through your schedule. Throughout the day, pause and breathe before key decisions, even if it is just for 3 conscious breaths. In that pause, you make room for guidance instead of autopilot. End your evenings by acknowledging every moment you acted from your future self, no matter how small. This trains your brain to recognize and reinforce your new identity. Over time, these small rituals weave your future self into the fabric of your present life. On the days when doubt feels loud and heavy, remember what is really happening. Doubt is often a sign that you are standing on the edge of a new level, not that you are on the wrong path. Your old identity will always protest when it feels threatened. Instead of believing every doubtful thought, learn to witness it from the perspective of your future self. Ask yourself, if my future self were sitting beside me right now, what would they remind me of? They would remind you of how far you have already come, of everything you have already survived and transmuted. They would remind you that reality has already proven it can bend when you commit to alignment. Let that remembrance soften the grip of your fear. As you stabilize in this new identity, your journey naturally begins to overflow into the lives of others. People will feel something different in your presence, even if they cannot name it. Your calm becomes a medicine in chaotic rooms. Your boundaries become a permission slip for those who are still afraid to set theirs. Your courage to act like your future self inspires others to reconsider what is possible for them. You do not need to preach or convince. Your life quietly speaks for you. In this way, your personal alignment becomes a form of service. You become a living example of what happens to reality when someone chooses to remember who they are. Your transformation ripples outward far beyond what you can see. Eventually, there will come a day when you realize that what once felt like acting has become natural. You will catch yourself responding with grace, clarity, and strength without even thinking about it. You will look around and see a reality that, while not perfect, reflects your inner work in undeniable ways. The people around you, the opportunities in front of you, and the peace within you will all feel like a match. In that moment, Remember that you are living inside a reality your past self once considered impossible. Let that awareness fill you with gratitude, humility, and quiet pride. Then, recognize that your future self has already moved to their next edge, inviting you forward again. Expansion never ends, but neither does the support available to you. So here you are, standing as both the dreamer and the dream, the one who asks and the one who answers. Reality is no longer something that just happens to you. It is something that responds through you. Every aligned action you take is a conversation with the universe, a declaration of who you know yourself to be. Your future self walks with you now, not as a distant fantasy, but as a present companion. Your higher self holds you in a field of infinite potential, guiding you gently back whenever you drift. You are composing your timeline in real time with every yes, every no, every boundary, and every act of self-love. This is what happens to reality when you start acting like your future self. It does not just change around you, it transforms through you. If these words are resonating in your chest right now, take that as confirmation that your future self is speaking to you through this moment. They are asking you to stop waiting for the perfect sign and to start living as the person you already feel inside. Let this be the day you choose alignment over delay, intuition over doubt, and embodiment over mere intention. Write down one choice you will make today as your future self and honor it as a sacred promise. Return to this message whenever you forget, and let it recalibrate you back to your highest timeline. If you want more reminders like this, more transmissions that help you remember who you truly are, stay close to this space. Follow, subscribe, and keep this conversation alive between you and your own becoming. Your future self is already grateful that you showed up here today, and reality is already shifting to meet the choice you just made.